continuing with age. When you think about it, it's a peculiar thing, isn't it, this life? You start off bouncing around like a little gazelle, and then you mature, and then you decay. You can get to thinking, saying that old age is a privilege, and people who reach old age are the lucky ones. But then we come upon another one of the universe's paradoxes. Surely to live and retain your youth, then you would be the lucky one. Not to get to a position where every day you're in pain, every day you're compromised. Walking up a hill like this leaves you wheezing and pains in your heart and your knees and your hips and any other number of body parts. And with each step that you take, wheezing and struggling, you say to yourself, I wish I'd have eaten better in my life. I wish I'd have gone to the gym a little bit more. Damn my mother with her arthritis. Damn my father with his angina and his high blood pressure that genetically he gave to me. Thank you, Father. Oh my goodness. Can I see myself there? Am I going to be one of those? Am I going to be a wheezer? To be fair, people, now my body is starting to be compromised. I feel these long walks in my knees and in one of my hip joints. And albeit I can still go to the gym, I can still have a decent workout. You know, I'm only 53. What about when I'm 73, 83, 93 is the year I envision I depart this reality. I've got another 40 years. How am I going to manage? How am I going to fare up? What's going to happen to my mind when I watch which was once a beautiful body decay into decrepitness? I've got to tell you, I'm not looking forward to that. Some of you viewers, you're already there, and you can tell a little bit of the story of what it's like. It's not the sort of question people ask, is it? So, how do you feel every day when you wake up? You go, fucking hell. You know, I've got gravity to contend with again today. As well as all of my ailments, I've got all this stuff that I've got to contend with to get me through this life. And then you ask yourself the question, is it worth it? The pain and the suffering that you go through for the small amount of pleasure that you derive, is it worth it? Do you ask yourself the question, people? Is it worth it? These are things I think about, of course, along with a myriad of other things on a daily basis. And when I observe overweight people and decrepit people and not very bright people, these are all things that I have tried vehemently to avoid in my life. They're things I detest about what it is to be human. And so the fitness aspect of it, I've got a pretty good handle on that. The intelligence or the acquisition of knowledge, I've got a pretty good handle on that. The ageing thing, I've tried to stave it off, and I think I've done pretty well, pretty good so far. But I'm fighting a loser, aren't I? We're all fighting a loser when it comes to that. And so I travel around this world extracting pleasure. I ask myself in any given moment, are you enjoying this, Aaron? Are you maximising on this experience, Aaron? Because if you're not, you may regret it one day. Because when that time comes, when you can no longer do this sort of stuff, will you be one of these people that says, damn, I wish I'd done more. I wish I'd fucked off that job. I wish I'd gotten out of that dull, stagnant relationship that kept me bound and in a state of melancholy for years. I never realised my true potential. Am I going to be one that says that? No, I'm not going to say that. When my time comes, I'm going to say, wow, fuck me, mate. You gave it your best shot. You had a pretty good go at this thing called life. You've travelled many countries, you've experienced many things. And all these things you've experienced physically, they've took a toll on you, mate. In some way, they've helped you maintain your vitality. But in another way, they've taken it away from you. Like all the years I've spent in full contact martial arts, running and high impact training, I guess that's took a toll on my joints. But what I will say is my brother, he had a hip replacement more than 10 years ago. He's only 2 years older than me. My old man had arthritis from 40 years old. So I'm 13 years on without having that. So whatever I've been doing, whether I've been blessed genetically better than my father and my brother and my sisters, or whether it's been what I've endeavoured to do, always being aware that, mate, it's not going to be too long and you're going to be there. You're going to be one of those, mate. You're going to be 60, 70, 80 years old. And so this is why I look at people when they're carrying huge paunches and they're carrying like 2 kilos on the cheeks, blah, 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 blah. And I just think, well, that is diminishing the quality of life that they have. And they've made an assessment on this life, and they've considered that the hardship, the discipline it takes to stave the 2 kilos on your chin and the 10 kilos on your stomach, to stave that off, they didn't want to pay the price of the sacrifice of all the things they wanted to eat and the dismissing of all the exercise they should have partook in. At 53, I'm doing all right. I'm happy. I'm very happy with what I've achieved and what I've discovered and experienced in this life. And I'm at the point now, obviously over half a century, where it's kind of like it's all downhill from here on. Hopefully it's a slow downward staircase, spiral to my decrepitness, and I'll keep fighting it. I'll keep the vitality for this life, because it's the vitality that gives you the energy, the inspiration to just keep getting out of bed, just keep booking that bus journey, that plane trip, whatever, just keep doing it. It's the zest for the vitality. If you don't feel that level of vitality, if you don't feel wonderful, then if you struggle when you get to these places, you're not going to go many of them, are you? You're going to think, fuck that bus trip, fuck that plane trip. I'm just going to sit here on the settee and watch telly. That's why I don't like seeing those old people. See where I'm coming from?